here with Ashton Wood from DV Safe Phone, an amazing Sunny Coast-based charity that does really important work recycling old mobile phones and providing them for those that are dealing with domestic violence. Ashton, we first caught up in 2020 when this was just an idea. You've come a long way since then. Tell us about some of the great work that you're doing.
It sure has. So in 2020, I was told by the police that they desperately needed phones to give to victims of domestic violence. And I was working in corporate at the time and said, well, we've all got boxes of phones in corporate. How many do you want?
Yeah.
And the ex-police senior sergeant said, you'll never get me enough. So that's where I started. I gave her my 2 old phones, and then we put the call out and said, we need phones. One of my biggest challenges is how do I actually get the phones in? And I reached out to you, and you were the first MP to say, I would love a box on my counter. The only problem back then is we didn't even have boxes. So we got one made.
Yep.
You took one and you took 2 more and you walked into Parliament.
Yep.
And said, I want every MP office to have one. Thanks to you, we have over 100 MP offices in Queensland with one of these. We've also, it's now spread. I was in Western Australia recently and they've got 21 of them over there with their MP offices.
Wow.
So what you started here is spread across Australia, which is incredible. What it's meant for us is we've collected 58,000 mobile phones from generous Australians, businesses, corporates, individuals, community clubs, everybody. Of those, they all come in here and they all need to be checked and tested. So I've got 30 volunteers in here and a bunch of full and part-time people, 2 full-time techs now, and we are processing thousands of phones all the time. We've protected 19,000 victims of domestic violence across the country so far in 6 years. Last week we created a record, which we're proud but not proud of. We sent out 400 phones in 1 week, which is our biggest number ever. But that's sad that we need to send out 400 phones in 1 week. But to keep it going, the service is totally free. We provide the phone. It'll have a new battery put in if required. We're doing about 40 batteries a day in the phones that come through here. So we have to buy those and we pay for the techs. So we need phones and we need funds to keep it going. Queensland government have been incredible. So Deputy Premier has provided us with funding for 4 years, which helps me get phones in the hands of 10,000 Queenslanders, which is absolutely incredible. We hope the other states will follow suit. But at the moment, a lot of our phones are staying in Queensland because that's where the funding is helping do what we need to do.
So just an amazing example of what a small idea and your proactive response to that short conversation around how you can help has evolved into something so powerful. You would have heard, no doubt, some of the stories of the people that you've touched along the way. Can you share, and obviously keeping people's privacy in mind, but is there anything you can share in terms of some of those stories?
Yeah, so we distribute our phones to frontline services, so police stations, safe houses and hospitals, and they give us de-identified stories back. So we'll never know the names of the people, but we'll certainly know the story. A common one we see a lot is, look, mobile phones and technology is great, and technology is getting better. If you lose your phone, you can press a button for another phone and find it. If you lose your bag, you can put an AirTag in it and track it. If you now can't work out where you parked your car, the new cars now you can find your car. But with all that technology, it gets weaponised by perpetrators.
Yep.
So the feedback we're getting a lot is that the victim survivor has a phone existing that the partner knows about, is tracking it, is stalking them, is taking the phone off them, and it makes it really nearly impossible for them to communicate with their safety and support network to plan their escape and work out how to keep themselves safe. So our phones are given to them by the frontline service to keep them safe and connected to support, and the perpetrator doesn't know it exists. So if you don't know it exists, you can't track it.
Yep.
And those phones are saving lives every single day. And then once the person's out of danger, they keep our phone, we never need it back. So a lot of the stories we hear, look, we've heard in another state where perpetrators, 2 different cases, were saying to the female victim, you can't go to the police, they won't trust you, they're mostly men, us men stick together. So when the police did get called to the house and took her back to the station, she didn't want to press charges because she was worried that if she gave all the information away, it would get back to the perpetrator. So the police at the time said, look, we understand that you don't want to press charges yet. It's going to happen again. Domestic violence, 8 or 9 occurrences is what it takes generally before people have the support and confidence to leave. So they gave her one of her phones and said, look, it is going to happen again, but here, take a safe phone, hide it, and use it when it happens again. She did. It happened again. She went to the police, and now there was trust. So she went through, and they could put the protection orders in place and give her the support she needed, because there is a lot of support in Australia for people going through domestic violence. It's just having that confidence and support and knowledge of what's available to help people plan and escape and be safe, like we all have a right to live safely in this country.
Yeah, absolutely. And this month is Domestic Violence Prevention Month, and you're running a campaign to try to drive even more support. So tell us about your campaign.
Yeah, so this year's campaign is called Pass the Phone Challenge, and it's about literally that, just pass the phone on. We know that Mobile Muster, who are Australia's leading phone recycler, we've sent them over 6 tonnes of e-waste so far. Wow. So phones we couldn't get working, or parts, we send to them and they recycle. They say that there's 22 million phones in people's drawers and cupboards right now in Australia. So we just need people to pass the phone. Go to that drawer, check that drawer, go to the office, talk to your employer and just say, do we have any phones around here? So it's called a Pass the Phone Challenge. And we're asking people just to do this in May. And we're asking people to take a video of them doing it in their unique way. So we've already got Sunshine Coast Lightning passing it. We've got the Cowboys passing it. We've even got Sunshine Coast Council passing it down a boardroom table. We're saying do it in your unique way, take a video, and a company called Peak Escapes has offered a $500 travel voucher for the most unique way that people are passing the phone.
Oh, cool.
Yeah.
Well, we just brought you the latest batch from phones that have been dropped off into My Electric Office. So if anyone's watching this in Buderim and they want to go through their cupboard and identify one of those 22 million phones, drop into My Electric Office and we'll pop it here in the safe DV safe phone box and we'll drop them back off. This is the latest batch for all those who've already dropped off their phones in the office. So thank you very much for taking the initiative and supporting. And Ashton, thank you to you and all of your volunteers for the absolutely amazing work that you guys do. I think it's an amazing example of how one man's actions, your actions, can evolve into something so powerful. So a really important initiative.
Thank you for your support.
Thanks,
mate.